Two of my favorite Fujifilm lenses go head to head to the death. Hey guys, Omar here, and you know, most lens review videos I watch, they don't have enough photos. It's usually just someone standing there holding the lens, telling you about its build quality. You don't want to see any of that. You want to see pictures. What can the lenses do? I decided not to stress in this video too much, and I just grabbed a bunch of 23mm photos and a bunch of 35mm photos, and I wanted to just do it for me too. Which one did I like better? Which one made me feel better? And we have to bring a little bit of the emotion, a little bit of the art back into photography. And so in this video, yeah. Okay, Costa Rica, my daughter, shooting between two objects. A little bokeh there, nice, very sharp, very sharp. I remember looking back at this photo, these buildings here. This is a hotel in Costa Rica, and thinking that I took this with the 16mm, and I was surprised that it was the 23mm. Fujifilm colors. This is the Fujifilm X-T20, by the way, just as an aside. This is the original gangsta Fujifilm X-T20 that started the channel. And I noticed that this little rubber thumb thing today is coming off. So yeah, we did a longevity test. 2017 till now. That starts to come off. Anyway, we got a backup. It's called the Fujifilm X-T20. Aww. Okay, sorry, back to the photos. This gentleman on the bench, I think this is a good example of how 23 is great if you're close. If you're a good street photographer that can see a scene like this and just swoop in, shoot, and move, I think 23 to me is better for that. This shows how much bokeh. This is the f2, the Fujifilm X-T20, some bananas. The kids in Costa Rica, if you're shooting two people. This I like because my son's behind my daughter there, so he's a little blurry. But yeah, the f2 does its job. You get a little bit of separation at f2 and you see some of the scene, which is nice. Hey, did you guys know I had a restaurant? Another example where in street photography, the 23 is good. Shooting between bikes, the bikes are blurry, the people walking by and the pigeon, that's what makes this photo, are clear. And I tried, one technique is just to sit somewhere and find where you finally get someone cool. This looks like a jean commercial, so I like it. Notice they're both edited differently. That's something I would have stressed about if I was making a very comprehensive video. I would try to edit them all the same, but we're not gonna stress. We're not stressing, we're just showing you how they are. Some are edited, some are not. Food, I found the 23 was great for food. This is a carbonara somewhere. Niagara Falls, this is classic chrome, just shooting people. I just like the chaos in this shot. But anyway, 23 gives you a lot of information. The kids, too much sky in this photo, but the kid, oh, let's zoom in, see how, yeah. Oh, this is a JPEG, 23mm at 2.8, not f2. And I don't see any of the purple fringing kind of here at all. My wife's hair, kid's hair. This is 5.6. This was for my original 23mm review. I saw this ant on here, and I, stopped down to 5.6 because this 23mm lens, wide open, close up, is kind of dreamy. It doesn't really go super sharp. This is another JPEG of Captain America. This was at some kind of Comic-Con in Toronto. But yeah, this is 2.8. You can see the background there, 2.8 far away. I put this one up because this is kind of how I feel sometimes with the 23mm is there's just too much, you know, and there's no compression, and it's best for getting those really close-up photos. I found that like when you're walking around, you're like, oh, I like this. There's something here. I have a feeling, but the lens doesn't really capture what you're thinking. So part my fault composition-wise, but part that the lens sometimes is really too wide for that. Here's kind of another example. This photo would be way better if I was closer to the policeman. This is a JPEG, black and white, in camera. But it's funny, it's like this is too wide here, and then I look up and shoot between two buildings, and how could this be a 23 and how could this be a 23? You know, that's sometimes you can't even tell what lens it is, depending on the subject. So here I would assume that it's some kind of zoom lens, but yeah, it's great to see what the one focal length can do. 23 millimeter of this cool car. Some reflection there, 23 millimeter. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to shoot this lens this way, but you're going to see in a second that for me, the 35, I got a better feeling from the 35. And I'm starting to, there's a minimalistic look here, this building. For example, this kind of, mural on the wall, and this gentleman walked in. I kind of thought that he would sort of, fit in here with the, the people on the wall, but check it out. Watch, let me show you. Look how cropped this is. Which actually is kind of neat to see because it shows you how clear this X-T20 at f4. This is the lens at f4, and look how sharp it is. Look at all the little, the brick, the corners. This is not the corner. Sorry, that's why it's so sharp. It's the middle. Oh, look at our happiness. I think this is when he graduated 8th grade or something. But the one thing I do notice about the 23 is look at this booth over here, that it really is a 23. It's a 20, think about 23 millimeter in full frame. Yes, it's cropped in, but it is still a 23 millimeter field of view. And sometimes in the corners, I feel like, not that it's bowed or anything, it's not as flat. And this is an example too, it's not as flat, okay. Here that looks flat though. Here it looks totally flat. So I have no idea what I'm talking about. This was my cool little motorcycle named Noralee after the Itchy Boots channel. I kind of missed this bike, but it had no power up the hills. So I'm much happier with Poe, my new motorcycle. But yeah, 23 millimeter, X-T20. X-T20, 23 millimeters. Look how sharp that is there. Really nice. Ugh. I don't know. It's 3.2. It's not 2.0. Sorry about that. This is 2.2. And we got nice separation there. Look at the bag. Damn. You can see all the detail in the bag. And yeah. I would say do not, if you're in love with super blurry backgrounds, you're going to want a full frame camera. I think the APS-C cameras, you need like 1.2 lenses, 1.0 lenses, if you really want that crazy super blurry look. I don't shoot my Fujifilms that way. A lot of times I'm shooting them stop down a bit, but you get close to sandwich, you're gonna have nice sandwich. I'm just showing this like kind of dreaminess here, this dreamy softness sometimes you get from close up. And I think that's the one thing that disappointed me with Fujifilm when I first started was like, after coming from a 33 megapixel, the 5D Mark IV was so sharp if you zoomed in, and I always zoom in. You do too. You're totally zooming in. This is, I think my son took this shot in that video we made. But here, I don't know, can you see the bowing that I'm talking about? The 23 millimeter field of view. It's not flat. The buildings aren't flat, but yeah, that's the one thing I notice. If you could kind of see it here too. But this could just be that I'm shooting up at an angle. This is to show how nice and sharp this X-T20 is. Actually, this is the XE2. This is 16 megapixels, 16 megapixel. We have 40 megapixel Fujifilms now. We don't need it. This is 16. Actually, that was one of the videos I was going to make. One of my videos was going to be 40 megapixels. Forget it. Give me 16. And I was going to show these photos, but it's so much work. Okay. Now, here's an example of where I don't like this picture, right? I was at Washington Square Park. I took a picture of the arch, and it's like, blah. But this picture, I kind of love. And the pigeons and sort of the classic chromey, whatever, I don't know how I edited it, but I like this picture. Like, I would put it up, and it just gives me a feel of the morning in New York and yada, yada. So it's funny how just the same lens, the same place, no pigeons here, too much information, and kind of, this is not zoomed. This is completely the full frame. So I find that interesting too. And that's why I wanted to make this video and show you examples, because a lot of times people are like, I don't know, should I get the 35 or the 23? Sometimes, like, if I told you this was a 35 millimeter, you might believe me. Sometimes you can't tell based on the photo. Yeah, I don't know what that is. 23, but boring. I don't know. I don't like it. Close focus. Again, this is what happens in close focus with the 23. Yeah. Man, that's sharp. This is at 5.6. If you stop down this 23 millimeter, don't go too far. Don't go too far, because then you're going to be like, why isn't it sharp enough? That's why you get the 40 megapixel. But this is totally very nice. Bahama Breeze. We like Bahama Breeze. And this is 5.6. Not even f2. Look at that. That's boring. This is a moment. Look at this. This guy's walking his dinosaur. This is unedited. And this is a dinosaur in Baltimore. That's right. I have two of these here. I tried to foreground element this mother, but the person's not balanced. This one's more balanced. Not edited, but 23. Yeah. Minimalism. I love it. This is the XE2. This is a bad crop, by the way. What you should do is crop this as an 8x10, people. Look at this. Put the boat in the rule of thirds. Ah! That's what you do right there. That's a little bit better balanced. What was I thinking? Yeah. People on the beach. These are unedited RAWs, by the way. People on the beach, just good light. Again, so much information, very wide. I would have probably liked to have an 85 millimeter equivalent. See, look at this guy here. Like, this is a cool shot. If it was... That's why, to me, sometimes primes, I love them. But if you're going out to create, you probably will have a better chance creating with either multiple lenses or, like a zoom lens. That'll give you variety. But it is fun. I'm going to say it is fun shooting with the prime. Here's a little spoiler. This is coming up 35 millimeter 1.4. This is a fun lens. But yeah, moving your body around, and that is when you're doing photography for yourself. It just feels so great. So this is also a bad crop, by the way. I'm not going to start cropping everything, but I'm starting to like 8x10 right there. Oh, look at that right there. Oh, that's a little bit. Yeah, 23 millimeter at f2 has a cool, filmy, dreamy look, but I noticed that it focused on her sleeve here, which was annoying. The amount of bokeh, if you get up to some shrooms. I put this up because I wanted to show you, by the way, this used to annoy me about Fujifilm. When I would zoom in, I would get like the swirly kind of, like the whole, remember the worm sort of thing? Should use Capture One. Look at this pastel. Look at this. By the way, we were zoomed all the way back there, so stop it. Anyway, I'm going to show you when we do the 35 that it has a better feel, the flatness. This looks like too much going on there. I should have probably gotten closer to them. Another example of, well, that's too much zoomage of, hey, my daughter showing me something cool, and it totally missed. Oh, that's pretty. 23 millimeter XT20. And that's at 3.2, and I like it. It's nice. Just good colors. Maybe this isn't minimum focus distance, but just to show you, this is not edited. And, oh, that's not good right there. This is not an editing video, but I just want to white balance them Cheerios, Oh, what's your recipe? Yes, it's called Dirty Cheerio. Yeah, you get a little sliver of Cheerios there. Great. This is what the city looks like from Weehawken, I think. But it's great for this. This is what it's perfect for, is street photography with a foreground element and layers. And if you had a bunch of things going on in the frame, this 23 is what I would use if that's the type of photography. It's so hard to do that photography, but this isn't a good photo. But I'm showing you that, like, if something's in the foreground and you have interest in the back, and your viewer will look around the whole photo. 23, great for that. This was an attempt at that, but it sucks. But something interesting happening out the window, and if someone interesting was in the sea, and you can like look around. 23, I like that. This was in Portugal. This just has a cool feel, this 23 millimeter. I thought I had taken this with like a longer lens, but 23. Okay, now the little 35. Or my zoom lens at 35. What does 35 millimeter look like on the APS-C Fujifilm system? So I Again, no scientific anything. As I look through the photos, I like these better. I don't know. I just like maybe it just flattens everything. It's maybe how I shoot. I don't know. But here we go. First, we have a pedicab driver. This is shooting from the sidewalk at f2. Flower at f2.8. Ooh, Fujifilm X-T20. Just the porch, but can you see there's less of the weird lines, some face painting going on. Now you start to see a little bit more bokeh separation kind of thing. This is poorly edited, sorry, way too much color, but leading lines. And here's what I was talking about. Remember before the forest, about the same distance? Here it kind of like flattened everything and it focused on my son, who's about to turn 18 now, by the way. Look how little he was here. But and then my daughter's blurry because she's out of the plane of focus. But it just has a flatter look. And I found that the images to me were just a little bit more, I don't know, I was into them a little bit more. It's hard to explain. And it could be that, I shoot usually 50 millimeters for most of my stuff. Here, it was good at getting close up too. Look at that. Well, not that picture, but maybe this picture, a little flower. This is a bad picture, by the way. Not a good street photo. I hate street photos where you're afraid and you shoot people from behind, but it is what it is. So I'm putting it up there. But it's a good example of if there's something happening in front of you and you take a picture of something cool happening in front of you, how much separation you can get at this is a JPEG. At f2, but again, I recommend shooting these lenses a little bit more stop down. This is a full body portrait at f2, 35 millimeter. Maybe this is to show its sharpness at f2. I don't know what I put up there. Here's my mama. By the way, I can see something really wrong in this photo, and this happens all the time in a lot of people's photos. Just see where the blown out areas are, the brightest areas are of a photo, and try to avoid them as much as possible. I just wanted a quick picture of my mom here, so it doesn't matter. But this is also super distracting because people's eyes will go to the brightest part of the photo. So I love you, Mom. Okay, oh my God, ridiculous. This is where you're just bokeh happy. You got a little web going on there. And then you zoom in and you're like, I don't know why nothing is crazy sharp. It's because you're zooming in too much. X-T20, JPEG, straight out of camera. Nice little, this is what the bokeh looks like over there. Little cat eye mamas. So sharp, 5.6. 5.6. This is what the architecture is like where I grew up in Hoboken. Yay. That's right. 2 planes of focus here. I don't know what I did, but I just like the colors. Again, that flatter look. I like that flatter look. This lens was better at getting closer. This is shooting through a window though, so that shouldn't even show that. But here is a portrait. I mean, the guy's beard, you can see all the little hairs. This was a chess store near Washington Square Park in New York, and people come in, play chess. You can buy different kinds of like pieces. It's really cool. So yeah, this is minimum focus distance, f2. And this is one of those examples of where there's stuff going on that you maybe want to look at for a little while. I just like the dog is completely framed by these pigeons. And this, I think I was trying to maybe get something with the lady here would have been perfect, but maybe with AI. So I tried a couple of different frames, but I put this one up to show you how I like to use this 35. It's a lot flatter. And this is where I think the 23 is better than the 35 is. Here I snuck a shot of this vendor guy. Again, afraid. I should have probably asked him, can I take your photo and buy something from him? But the 23 probably shows the environment a little bit more, has a better feel for that. 35, my wife and kid. Background has some separation. Oh, selective coloring, people. It's still in. It's still in, but this is one photo, 2 different sides. I just brushed the color off on that side, but I just feel like it's before the multiverse was a thing. I just think this is the multiverse. This is great. This is a JPEG straight out of camera with the 35 during fall. The leaves are sharp. The book is nice. I just like this. That's what I'm saying. Like, this lens makes me feel better than the other one. The other one is like a work lens. Like, I have to find moments with that lens. This one, you could shoot the ground and it works. Same with this. This isn't a great photo, but I like it. Probably because of the separation, the colors. This is Banff in Canada. I can't wait to go back there. Aw, my motorcycle. Yeah, super sharp. Look at that. Damn. This is at f2. Look how sharp that is. So nice, carburetors. Yeah, and this is me looking cool. Oh my God, look at the grain. We should reset that. Let's see what it looks like. Reset. Boop. Oh, I had cropped it a little bit. But this is straight out of camera. This is classic chrome, I think, straight out of camera, which gives nice, nice colors there. Yeah, I remember taking this picture and being like, man, this 35 is really, really good. A little separation, leading lines, good colors. There's a JPEG straight out of camera. That was camera. Yeah, my little Brompton. Oh, the boy's getting tall. This was during COVID. We went up to Maine. It was great. Not COVID, but like no one being on the streets in Bar Harbor, Maine was just fabulous. Fabulous. Ooh, where did we focus? We'll never know. It looks like right there. Yes, these little droplets. Nice. Also, this is Maine as well. Yeah, Maine. Again, made that mistake. You see how bright this is? I should have definitely put her head in a dark spot. Like this. My wife. My son, he's always the backup photographer, but this is at f2. I can't believe I let him shoot at f2, but he got it. Close up to lobster. Oh my gosh, if you're freaked out by seafood. Those were good lobsters. I always feel, do you feel bad? Like the lobster boiled alive and then you're like, you're such an animal. I like this. This is like classic chrome, kind of old fisherman tools kind of thing. Love it. XT2 this time with the 35. The XT2, here it is right here with some gaff tape on it. The XT2 is always the one that goes out in the worst conditions because that's my like beater, you know, weather sealed camera. If anything were to happen to it, it's okay. Chicken. This is the 1.4 at 1.4. I forgot to tell you that we are also looking at that lens, and that's why this boring picture is up here to tell you that 1.4 gives you a little bit more separation than the f2 version of the 35. And that's why I took this picture, because I picked up the 35 1.4 and I wanted to see if it looked full frame-ish, and it totally does sometimes. It's very cool. Here's another example of that 1.4. My son, before he had facial hair. I mean, this is cool. If I could have gotten this with the 23, but I'd have to be really close up to the kid or crop. And then if you're a little shyer for street photography and you don't want to mess with people, you want to shoot from the hip, 35 is better than 23. But I think for street photography like this, and this, the 23 is better. I don't like any of these photos, okay? See, like this is garbage. Yeah, picture of someone on a cell phone, but just wanted to show you that they're not all winners and that street photography to me is better a little wider, which is why I like the Ricoh GR at 28mm. I actually enjoy that a little bit more. Cool colors at night. This gentleman was in the fountain, which was a cool moment. He was bathing, but the light wasn't super great. Yeah, 35 1.4. I really enjoyed the 1.4 for like its foreground blurriness here. And yeah, the 35 1.4, this is a bad photo, sorry. Good colors here. XT20, this is the 35 1.4. Here's my beautiful wife. You can see the separation. There's my mom in the back, but that she's clear in the background it's not as blurry as like a Sigma 1.4 full frame. Here are the Gonzalez generations, all three. My son passed my dad and I passed my dad a long time ago. But yeah. And the parents there. Here is my car, a pigeon, coffee, my daughter, Great colors there. This was with the XM5 video that I just did. I slapped on the 35mm f2. Yeah, it's a 35 f2 street photo and of the buildings there. Yeah, they both have their place. I like the 35 images most, but I think if I'm gonna go out and do street, I probably would take the 23mm or just get a zoom. All right, I'll see you guys next time.